Hello, everybody. This is our last Ask the Trainer Facebook Live session for the summer. Thank you for bearing with us over the last few months on coming through the quarantine and all of the changes and letting us help you and give you some advice remotely. So now that we are back in person, although we are still doing plenty of remote consultations, we are going to kind of leave off this for a while, and we'll bring it back and let you know if we're doing any more Ask the Trainer events through Facebook at any time. You are always welcome to email us with questions about your dog's behavior, and we're going to always give you the best advice. For those of you who have not been to Ask the Trainer before, my name is Dana Falsetta. I am the Behavior and Training Program Coordinator here at the Animal Welfare Society in Kennebunk, Maine. So, and here's our beautiful training classroom that we're back in. We have been covering so many different topics over the last few months about dog training, living with our dogs, dealing with quarantine issues that commonly come up for many pet owners. So today I don't have not too many of everybody. I think has asked their questions, so we haven't gotten a lot in. But we did have a couple things that I wanted to talk about. I'll make sure I remember everybody's questions. If you have any questions, please write them in the comments, and I will be happy to answer them once I get through the couple questions that people have talked about. And then if you need anything, you can email us obedience@animalwelfaresociety.org. If you need any training, you want to request anything, you can email us or go to our website, animalwelfaresociety.org, and click on our training services tab and see what we're offering. We're just going to be starting pretty shortly some outdoor classes. We have a couple going right now as kind of tests. So as those are kind of gaining speed and we work out all the kinks on how to do this safely, we'll be happy to have you guys back in classes as well. Okay, so one of the big questions we got this week is how to curb excessive barking at people and dogs while on a walk. And I think this question comes up almost every week. So, and the general answer is, the general piece is not every dog is the same, and not everybody's barking intensity is going to be the same. So we really do need to address the specific individual for this, but there's a couple of things that you can do that I'm going to tell everybody who comes to me with this problem. And that's one of the first things is provide less opportunity for them to practice this behavior. So that falls under our management portion, where we want to walk at off times. We want to stay on the other side of the street, quieter areas, maybe taking a trip and driving to where you're not going to see a lot of traffic, and make sure we have the walk as the main focus instead of your dog trying to be so alert and practicing that barking and seeing a lot of people. So with less opportunity to practice, the behavior will start to deteriorate a little bit. So that's the first thing. And then if your dog is actually friendly, so they're barking at other dogs and people, but it's not unfriendly, then you want to provide as many opportunities to reinforce them for appropriate greetings. So if you can practice with meeting a friend's dog who's also friendly, anybody, any play groups, anything like that, people who are friendly, and we can kind of work with, they're excited to see that person that's coming up even though they're on leash, and treating them or doing some exercises to help decrease the barking. And then when they are quiet, letting them go up and meet that person, that they get that reinforcement that they're looking for. So let's talk about that for a second. We use a lot of treats and we use a lot of praise when we're trying to train this. But in these situations, the dog is probably, for friendly, happy dogs who are frustrated and barking excessively at people and dogs, the reinforcer for them could be that it's to go hang out with those people and dogs. This is not for fearful dogs or dogs who are dog aggressive. This is just for the dogs who are barking out of frustration. We provide them with an opportunity to say hello to those people and dogs. And if they are behaving politely, they do get to say hello. So if you happen to fall into that category, providing more opportunities to make that happen. And if you find yourself in the middle of the situation, you're walking and you already see your dog has already started barking excessively, the best thing to do is get out of there. So move quickly with confidence. Walk your hands up the leash so that it's right next to your dog's collar or harness, wherever it's connecting, and just move quickly and take the lead in an opposite direction. You can change your direction, do a quick U-turn if you need to, and you can offer some treats as they kind of come back to you if you'd like. Talk to them, so it's okay to continue to go, it's all right, you know, Max, come on, let's go, let's keep walking, it's okay, let's go, can really help to diffuse some of that tension as well. You may notice, like if you're trying to get your dog to sit through these situations, it can be really frustrating for them or really scary. So it might not be something that they're really able to do when dogs are, or people are at such a high stress level, what we call over their threshold. There may not be able, it impacts their learning and memory. So that what's happening in the body and the stress that's going on does have an impact. So even though they know how to sit, they know how to watch you and give you eye contact, they know how to do these things normally, in a high stress situation, their brain might actually not be letting them do that. So you want to be careful and not get too frustrated if they're not doing what you're asking. The same thing, like normally they're happy to eat treats, they're food chow hounds, but they're not taking treats, they're spitting them right out, they're not even looking at them in these situations. Could be because of high stress and anxiety. So they're going to be less likely to eat in those situations as well. So offering treats you can offer, but if they don't take them, just keep moving and keeping them going. Movement can help diffuse some of that tension as well. So you want to keep everything moving. Proactively, besides managing and decreasing the opportunity for the barking, teach your loose leash walking skills. Make sure that's something that you really work on. Work on having your dog naturally check in with you. So every time on a walk, they just kind of look up at you for no reason. Praise them, give them treats for that. Really reward and reinforce that natural behavior of them looking at you without you having to ask for it. Because then we're just developing these good natural behaviors and rewarding the dogs for making good decisions where we don't always have to ask them to do everything. So for more specific advice and exercises, especially with what we would call leash reactivity, so that over excessive reaction to seeing a specific trigger while on leash dogs or people and having that really intense barking or excessive barking reaction where it's hard to get them to come down, that's really best worked on with a trainer in private lessons or a specialty reactive class. So if you have that dog and you want some help with it, I am happy to help you. All of us here at AWS are pretty proficient with working with leash reactivity and can help you out. So shoot us an email if you want to work or learn more about that. Okay, so then something a little bit more fun. It's summer, we're all getting back to normal, and I wanted to take a moment to bring a little light to our experiences with our dogs. You ask me for training advice often, and I'm happy to give it. And I wanted to talk about doing something else with your dogs. So there's more to living with your dog than training or having a perfectly obedient dog. We get dogs because they bring us joy. We like to pet them. They are fun. They're our pals. It's somebody to be with. Maybe it's a protector. So we have to make some compromises too sometimes, or understand that they have needs that are just plain dog, that we might not have as much. And we want to give them and provide them some opportunities. Here's the kicker. If you provide them more choices, more opportunities to be a dog, they will listen better and be more obedient. So it kind of sounds counterintuitive, but if we kind of let go of very precise control over everything in our dog's life and give them more choices and more opportunities to do their natural behaviors, at first, the first couple of times it might be like, a kid in a candy shop where they want one of everything and everything's really exciting and they're not responsive. But if you go to the candy store every day, it doesn't become quite as exciting. You do what you need to do, and then you're pretty much ready to move on. So when I talk about doing something from our dogs, I'm borrowing a little bit from some different books and different trainers who have been really talking about this lately. But let's talk about it in like our 5 senses. So first thing that always comes to mind with dogs is their noses. Take them on walks where it is just for them. Hold the leash loose and just let them sniff. Try to have at least a few walks a week, if not one every day, that is just their walk, where you don't have any agenda, you don't have anywhere to be, and you can really just kind of let them wander and sniff and smell everything. You'll notice the first ones are a little hectic, but then if you don't have an agenda, you're not really worried about it. You'll notice that they end up just walking next to you anyway after just a little while. Using their mouth and sense of taste, food puzzles, food exploration, offer them a variety of different types of food, let them choose, figure out what their preferences are, and having like a different sensory experience. So if they're always eating, well, you don't want to like really change up your dog's diet because that can mess with their belly, but in form of treats or other vegetables maybe, like some days offer some carrots, other days some celery. Try to keep things healthy and nutritional. Maybe ask your veterinarian what some suggestions might be, but offer them some variety and some choice. Dogs do not have as many taste buds as humans, but they do appreciate some variety. Another thing to think of is their actual tactile and touch senses, giving them opportunities to display their preferences. So especially with our smaller dogs, we take a lot of their choice away when we touch them. So we loom over them, we might scoop them up and lift them high into the air. For many dogs, we go right over their head for their face and ear scratches. And that can be a little scary for dogs. And even the friendliest of dogs who tolerate it may not solicit that kind of touching. So maybe sometimes take a step back, offer your hands for some scratches, see if they lean into you. Start to see if you pet their chest and scratch their chest, if they lean in more, and if you hit their side body, they lean in less, or vice versa, or do they lean in and really want their ears scratched? Do they roll over and want a whole belly rub? So see if your dog has some preferences for how they're touched and how you pet them. For our sight, our eyes, senses, one of the things we can be really aware of is our own facial expressions when we're displaying them to a dog. They're very sensitive to that. Dogs have been raised with humans for many thousands of years, and they are pretty aware of our facial expressions. So if you're kind of around and have a scowl on your face and you're trying to do some training, they're going to pick up on that. So try to take a deep breath, relax, smile a bit more at your dog, provide something fun for them to look at and really connect with you on. For sound, we can also make sure that we relieve any sounds that might be irritating, annoying, or scary to them, and provide sounds that are more soothing, like talk radio, classical music, things that are fun, especially during sound or to counterbalance sounds like thunderstorms or fireworks, or construction noises or dishwasher noises, high-pitched, tinny noises, sound that bounces and echoes. If you notice that they're in an area and they seem a little nervous for those things, provide them with other sounds that may help them out a little bit more. And the final thing, to kind of tie it all together, remember to play with your dog. Play is just as important as obedience training. It builds your relationship, and dogs play by chasing and running and interacting with you. A lot of dogs really do thrive with the interaction that you're actively playing with them. So, make sure you take some time to really spend with them, put your phone away, put your coffee down, and play with your dog, love on your dog, and have those truly meaningful interactive sessions. And that is going to do wonders for your training, and it'll do wonders for your relationship with your dog, which we don't really think about as a forefront But if you think about why you went and you spent so many hours researching the shelter, the breeder, the type of dog that you want, is it older or younger, and then you go and you pick out your dog and you bring them home, and the amount of joy and why you're doing that, you know, come back to that feeling sometimes and put it into your relationship there. So does anybody have any questions? Because that is what I prepared for. I really wanted you to go into the summer just thinking about having a good time with your best pal, you know, safely and social distancing, exploring all of Maine has to offer, or wherever you may be living, to go and have a good time. Yeah. So, okay, I'm not seeing any questions coming up now, but you can always email us, obedience@animalwelfaresociety.org. We will be offering group classes, virtual and in person, private lessons, virtual and in person, training blogs, handouts, whatever you need, we're here for you up here at the Animal Welfare Society. So I hope everybody has a great weekend and kick off to your summer. Take care, and I will see you soon. Bye.